Hello and welcome to Spirit Among Us. Earlier this week we talked about the importance of understanding our sin. It leads us to appreciate who God is. It leads us to understand what He's done, and it magnifies His love for us. When we see that God has chosen us in our sin, and we see that God has chosen us because of His love, that magnifies who He is and glorifies Him. But today, I want to talk about another important way that God has chosen us. Despite being broken people, God has chosen us to be His light. 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 9. But you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for His own possession, that you may proclaim the excellencies of Him who called you out of darkness into His marvelous light. We are, through Jesus Christ, a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation. And to be clear, we didn't earn any of these titles. We haven't done anything to deserve being called by these. But God has chosen us to fulfill all of these roles. He has chosen us. Despite any sort of disobedience we have, despite any sin we have, despite any brokenness we have, He has chosen us. A people for His own possession. Most of all, more important than all else, He has chosen us to be His, to belong to Him. But I also want to look at the last part of this verse here. Proclaim the excellencies of Him who called you out of darkness into His marvelous light. This is God's purpose for our lives, and this is one way that we shine His light in this world, by proclaiming who He is, by sharing and telling the world who God is. If you want to be the light of Jesus, one way you can do that is by telling people who He is. And how much stronger is that testimony, knowing that we don't deserve the love we have? If this world sees someone who has earned the role of being called holy, or being part of a royal priesthood, that doesn't say much about God. But if this world sees broken people, hurting people, sinful people being redeemed by a God of love and being made holy and royal, then that truly glorifies God. And how much more that glorifies God than if we deserve the titles we hold. God wants us to be His light by sharing the truth of Him with others. But we are automatically sharing His light just by the testimony of Him choosing us. He has made it clear. We are His light. Matthew chapter 5 verse 14 says this, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden." To be honest, this isn't something that always makes sense to me. It's not always something that I can really understand, but we are God's light. He uses us to shine His glory and His love and His light into this world. Now, how can God do that if we mess up? How can we be His light if we're stuck in sin or if we're stuck in darkness? How can we do that if we're just broken people? Well, if you feel that way, and if you're wondering that, let me remind you of something. Nothing is impossible for God. All you need is a willing heart, and He can shine His light through you. So today, if you know Jesus, then rejoice in this. He has chosen you to be His light. Thank you for watching, and God bless.